Yeah. Yo, Mike and Mike.
Mike at night.
Our news, our business. We all about that love, support and protect. Y'all know what it is.
Hey, if you hear at nighttime when you hear,
at the right time,
that's what
baby.
we talk about, baby. Let's keep going tonight.
Yeah, we got a great show. We got a great show. Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, I'm excellent, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you right now, doing this show, I'm starting that.
You know, I woke up this morning, there was a whole lot of money in my bank account.
Oh, it
There was a ton of it.
$25. All be like you when I grow up.
Hey, you know what? We got a good show lined up for y'all tonight. Make sure y'all get in there, man. Come on. Hey.
Yeah, and when you go on there, share this video. Don't just log on to it, but share it on your page. We're trying to get this built out. We're getting a lot of feedback that y'all love the show. So love, support, and protect us, and keep sharing this video. We're doing something unique that no one else is doing. We're making local people, the people of Denver. You guys are our stars and our celebrities. There you go.
Hey, man, check this out. And like my man said, my man, y'all know that's an acronym, right? Mike at night. My man, let's go. So check this out. If y'all getting fed and y'all eating real good on our show, and even if you're just getting a snack, man, share that with somebody. Y'all know y'all can't eat in front of people. We black folks.
Yeah,
you gotta share with other people.
You ain't coming in no black home and eating, and
you ain't getting nothing. You know my mama used to say that all the time.
I just made some nachos. Terry's daughter threw down. What's her daughter's name? Be? Aaliyah threw down, man. She put some Doritos on that top with some meat. He had to snatch it away because I was going to eat the whole.
Man, he said, let me have one nacho.
You know you can't stop at one.
Hey, but check this out, man. Love, support, and protect. One more time, we want to shoot out shades, beauty supply. Want to make sure that y'all going over there getting your hair care products, keeping you guys the beautiful queens that you are. If you know somebody that's looking for a good beauty shop to go and get supplies, whoever it is, your daughter, your cousin, your auntie's neighbor, the folks you go to church with, shoot it. Come on, man. Love, support, and protect.
All day. Do it, y'all.
So check this out. And we got one more, Jabo's Barbecue. Somebody told me the other day, they went over there. I got a call. Let me just say this real quick. I got a call all the way from Virginia.
Wow.
My man said if he come here, he got to go to Jabo's. That's what he said. So I was like, you know what, man? That's what I'm talking about. We gotta get that love, support, and protect going today. I got a text message this morning. Guess what the text message said? I'm gonna tell you what it said.
Tell me what it said.
3 words.
What's that?
Love, support, and protect.
All right.
That's all it said. That's all the text message said. Love, support, and protect.
That's what
that's our goal. That's what we want to do. That's what we have this show for. Let me tell you, me and this brother here, we do not get paid to do this.
Yeah.
So we want to let you guys know that this is a public service announcement.
Exactly.
We coming from the community with this. We doing this from our heart. When we see our brothers and sisters out here going in the wrong direction, dying at an untimely place in their life, when we see people out here killing each other, we get on this show to make sure that you get the love, support, and protect that you need to make the good decisions that you need to make in this world that we're living in right now.
Yeah, this is our protest. We some people are out in the street, we using the microphone, we using our talent, and we're doing protesting via this microphone. We're trying to educate brothers on stocks, on marriage counseling, on drug recovery, on all the topics that we brought up.
This is what we do.
Supporting businesses.
This is what we're about.
We're doing it each and every day.
And we didn't make the mistakes.
Different.
We didn't make the mistakes that we're trying to keep people from. And if you live in a good life, we want to make sure that you continue to live that, but not just for yourself, for everybody else as well.
Around you.
We got a dope show. And when I say dope, I don't mean dope. I mean dope. We got a dope show lined up for you guys today. We want to make sure, hey, if y'all get on this and you hear something that you know somebody else needs to hear, man, share this. Share it. It ain't gonna cost you no money.
Share the
The
post.
cheapest thing in the world is a thank you. That's
Share
all
the
you gotta
post.
give.
You know, y'all troll through it anyway. Might as well share. You're sharing everything else.
You're sharing everything else. So
Like
let's
that
go.
picture of that girl looking back at herself and y'all saying she ain't got nothing back there. I've seen it. Y'all done shared that like 1,000 times. Share this. This is educational
I was
stuff.
wondering what they was doing. They were trying to put a picture and they look back.
Yeah, she looking back.
Well, turn around. Let me see what you know what I'm
That's what they
saying?
said.
Introduce
They were
yourself.
saying she didn't have nothing to look at. That's what they were
I
trying
don't
to
know
say.
if she got
But that was
something to
wrong
look
because
at
she
or
was a
not.
beautiful black queen,
Hey,
y'all.
hey.
She's beautiful all
And that's
day.
all we about is love, support, and protect. We got a guest coming up tonight. We're going to take a quick intermission. We're going to introduce him, get him in here. And I know he got some heat for y'all tonight, so make sure that you're tuning in and you're sharing everything we got. Let's go.
Let it go.
How did you see? How did you love? How do you remember me? I'm a road to nightingale. I hope the darkness keeps you well. When I can't fall asleep, I'm blindly taught myself to fight. Shadow man, shadow does easy girls. And if you get knocked down, don't forget to stand up. Just the night again.
Here we go.
Darkness keep you well. Just the nightingale.
Where's the Nightingale? You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's my girl, No Name. Y'all might be seeing her here pretty soon. But anyway, I just wanted to send that shout out. Hey, my man John's in the house. Big ups.
Yeah.
Clap that up for John. He decided to come tonight. Well, we invited him, and he accepted the invitation to come on Mike and Mike at night.
On self-improvement night.
Hey, on self-improvement night, how you can better yourself. Like we said, we all about the community. And you know what? If we could flip John inside out, y'all see something different. Because I know y'all look at saying John ain't got the complexion for the connection, but he do. Because
Yeah,
he's
he
connected.
He's
and we
connected.
stay connected at the bottom like the letter B. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes,
This
sir.
is how we do this today. But anyway, John, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule, because I know it's busy. To sit down and talk with your brothers today, and we appreciate you. I know the people
Okay,
watching
bring it on, man.
appreciate you.
Deborah's saying she can't hear us. Can you text us, let us know you can hear us now? What's up? Can you hear us? We want to make sure everybody hear this.
Hey, if y'all can't hear, let me know.
Let us know right now if you can hear or not.
Reach out to my girl
everybody.
Tick White, she
Yeah.
can hear us. Because you know what? Some people out there, they don't know where the sound button is on their phone, so they gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that
turn it
Geico
up.
commercial.
Yeah.
I don't have mute on my phone. Well, everybody has mute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she said she can't hear.
Can you hear us now? I feel like I'm in a Verizon commercial right now. Can you hear me now?
We should be live and direct. Everybody should be hearing us just fine.
Yeah, I hear everything. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let me throw these young headphones on, make sure y'all can hear.
Make sure we got it going on.
Hey, you know what? We got 5 people watching, so if those 5 people right now can't hear, y'all need to holler if you hear me.
Yeah, you guys got to go to Terry Spears' page. Go to Terry Spears' page. She said she can't even see it. Let's see.
No, we got 6 in there right now, so everybody can hear and they can see.
Okay. But can somebody reply and let us know y'all can hear it?
Okay, I just got somebody say, hey, they got dial up. So if y'all got dial up, y'all need to switch up here. Y'all need to switch over.
Yeah.
Step your internet game up.
Step your
out
game
there,
up.
players.
Step your game up.
But they say they can hear me real good.
All right, so
John, we in the house, man. Again, we want to, sorry for the interruption, but we want to thank you again for coming on and spending your evening with us. We know you have a busy schedule, but we're just going to jump right into the questions.
Yeah.
First of all, John, tell me who you are, what you do, man.
So first of all, I'm never too busy to come hang out with y'all.
Okay, that's what's up.
Second of all, I got a couple businesses that I want to shout out. Number one, House of Hair, owned by Marcus Pope over on 28th.
Okay, I know Marcus.
That's what's
Okay,
up.
all right.
Yeah.
Where's it at again?
28th Avenue between Fairfax and Elm.
Okay, Okay, who else?
There's my barbershop. Got Marcus, Sam, Brad, Kajay, and Coco in there.
Oh, he got all the names.
They're all great barbers, great stylists. They know what they're doing in there. And just a local artist I want to shout out, Jordan J. River Simpkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emmanuel Christensen.
Okay. Okay.
He's got bars. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw out that little shout out.
So check this out, Mike. What brings John here tonight?
Well, you know, John is a unique situation. So up until 5 years ago when he married the beautiful Sophia, he was a single father of 3 children, raising them all himself with an absent parent that he really wasn't dealing with.
Okay.
So, man, how did you do that? Let's talk a little about that.
Okay, so first of all, we know that he's responsible.
Yeah.
Because to take care of 3 children, you got to know what you're doing, man. Go ahead.
Man, I don't think anybody knows what they're doing when they get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what they say about the oldest? The oldest is one that you mess up on. But,
Yeah.
So, you know, I had my friends around. You know, my friends and my family really helped me. My parents helped me out a lot. My mom helped me out a lot.
Okay, so it's that family support.
Yeah, I had a couple my really close friend, Jarrell. He was a roommate of mine. He came and stayed with me, and he helped me when I needed to go out and do stuff. He would hang back.
Okay.
It takes a village.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And his uncle too. We call him Unc. He was always there for me too. So that
Okay.
helped a lot.
Okay. So you had a network of people that
Yeah.
came in and kind of lent a hand and kind of got you going. Okay.
Yeah, and I gotta say, anybody who tries to do it on their own, they're fooling themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
So
you gotta have. First of all, if you're the only person around, then I think that your kids they don't get enough robust of an experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you gotta have people around you that can help out. you know?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me. Can I drop this bombshell, or you want to
Go
drop
ahead.
the bombshell?
Go ahead.
Okay. So check this out. John is raising right now 3 black children. Okay. He has 3 black children that he's taking care of, and we had a little short conversation before about the whole hair situation.
Yeah.
So let's just jump into that before we get into the nitty gritty.
Y'all see how he stole my question? He was on jet my question that I had. We
Well,
knew I was
you
gonna
gotta
ask
read
that
them, and I
question.
can remember them.
Yeah,
So go
here you
ahead.
go.
So go ahead and ask your question there, brother.
John, just talk to us about the hair then, all right? Talk to us about the hair then. Having to do young black girls' hair. Let's talk about that.
So yeah, two of my kids are girls. One of them is 17. She's a senior in high school now.
Wow.
The other one is in 8th grade.
Okay.
And so I got twins that are a boy and a girl. And,
Okay.
they're both in 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know, when their mom was around, I made sure that I paid attention on how to do their hair. And
So you was taking notes.
yeah.
Okay.
I would do their hair, and you know, just because I knew that the situation wasn't good, so I had to pick it up. Had to pick up as many things as I could. So, you know, I have them between my legs on the floor, doing their hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I heard you could do a mean ponytail, brother, and have it twisted and everything.
Now,
It look better than some
now
of the
does John
women.
know what an east side ponytail is?
With one stick.
You know what? Hey, hold on, man. We ain't
That's
gonna talk about the east side ponytail. Anyway,
you know, pigtails, ponytail, all that stuff.
Okay,
I
so-
can do a couple braids.
Okay, so you know how to braid
I
too.
couldn't do French braids, but I could do, you know, the braid braids.
Yeah.
Now this is how you know if you can do hair or not.
Uh-huh.
Did your daughter ever come home crying?
I'm sure that's right.
Okay. Well, they always
Yeah,
cry when
yeah,
you're doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But if they come home crying, that's when you know you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
come home crying.
Okay, so they was
left
cool
crying.
with it.
All right.
My oldest, she's tender-headed to this day. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the younger one, she does her own hair now. She can even braid it up herself.
Oh.
Okay.
She does it cornrows on
Well,
her
hold
own.
on, she's 17?
No, that's not the one.
Okay.
The one that's 14.
Oh.
She know how to do her own hair.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
she's about to be 14.
Okay, yeah, well, hey, we have daughters the same age.
So, I mean, can you do the splits with the parts in them and everything and take the section
Yeah.
and do the braids?
What type of grease do you use,
I
John?
think oh, grease? We didn't really use grease.
Really?
Yeah.
So what you using, body butter?
Yeah.
They really didn't need it. Just pink
Oh.
oil would keep it right.
Oh, that pink.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
I know
oh,
what you're
yeah,
talking
I know.
about. Yeah. That's in every house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, so this is one of the questions that I have for you, and that is, what do you think that the major how do you convey the struggle of the black man to the black men that you are raising? And do you necessarily see that as a priority? I mean, do you address it from them being blacks, or do you address that from just on a humanitarian level?
So that's kind of a stacked question. I think that first of all, the way that I address it is I can't say this is what it feels like. You know, I can't come from there, but I can definitely have them talking to my friends and my close people who are black, who have that experience.
Okay.
You know, especially as it comes to my son. And sometimes it's like I just got to keep it real and just say, hey, I can get away with this, but you can't.
You might not be able to.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
You know, it's like.
So you shoot straight with them. Just give them the 100. This is what it is.
Yeah. What's the point of being
Sugarcoating.
sideways?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with my son especially, you know, my wife, she's half black, and she's really smart, man, because she told me, you know, don't let him go out to the park with a toy gun, you know, and stuff like that. So,
So she kind of put you up on a little bit as well.
She did, because I had never thought of that before.
Yeah, you don't want to play around with that.
Yeah, you can't mess around with that.
You know, when my mom, myself, growing up, my mother never let us play with toy guns anyway.
Yeah.
She was always like, you know what, pointing the gun at somebody and pulling the trigger, you don't even want to play like that. I'm going to tell you something real quick. In the wilderness, what are the lions and the tigers, how do they teach their cubs? They let them mimic what they're going to be doing later on in life. So my mama said, look, if you ain't going to be playing with no guns in here, you know, because I don't want you when you become an adult to feel like it's okay to be pointing guns at people and shooting. And my dad was real big on that. Yeah. Don't point no gun at me and pull no trigger. Yeah. I don't play that at all. So that was good for her to share that with them.
Yeah, it was. It definitely made a big difference, I think. Could have potentially saved his life. But, you know, it's like so my son got caught stealing.
Okay.
Last school year.
Okay.
And it's right next to the middle school that he goes to, 7-Eleven. He's banned from that, obviously, forever now.
Yeah, we all was at 7-Eleven at one point in our life.
He was 13.
I've never taken anything from 7-Eleven.
I have.
Ever.
I have.
In my life.
I have.
So, you know,
I'm being facetious. So I'm playing with you, dog.
What the hell?
Okay, that's where you sharpen your thief teeth at. 7-Eleven. That's where you go in and do a little look around. Is anybody watching me? No. But I'm not. Now, you guys, I'm not advocating stealing anything from 7-Eleven.
No,
don't do it. And say Mike
saying
at night told me to steal something from 7-Eleven. No, we did not. You're a lie. But go ahead.
Yeah, so where we live up in a Reunion area, which is like the newer part of Commerce City.
Okay.
There's not a lot of black people up there.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I told him, I was like, man, you know that they got their eyes on you. You've been there.
Yeah.
And so what were you doing?
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know, one time he did it, and he got away with it, and he just kind of started to feel himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he, when they busted him, he had like $40 worth of candy on him.
Wow.
Wow, man, you went all out.
So he okay, yeah.
At least we didn't get one piece, you know. We might as well get them all.
Yeah, so we finally squared that up. He had to go to court and everything.
Oh, wow.
Everything's
Okay.
been squashed. Just made him do some community service and all that
Okay.
stuff. But that's besides the point.
Right. But these are some of the things or the struggles that you've had, and just sharing with them, and not that no one else would go through that problem based on their ethnicity, but just dealing with, you know, the black youth, because, you know, some of us, we deal with black youth, but we do it on a different level.
Yeah.
You're right there in the trenches and sharing things with the black community and experiencing things with the black community at the same time. So that leads me to my next question, and that is with the Black Lives Matter deal. How do you approach that? How do you feel about that?
Man, I think, first of all, I think that it's messed up that you even have to say that Black Lives Matter. Right? I mean, that's the biggest thing that I think is terrible, that people just don't understand. When people combat Black Lives Matter, it's like, how could you combat that? It's like, Blue Lives Matter. Really? Like, you can take off the blue suit but you can't take off your skin.
Come on now.
Amen.
Up top with me, John. There you go. We didn't make a decision. You made a decision to be a police officer.
Right.
We did not make a decision to be black. It wasn't up to us.
Yeah.
This is what we were given.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I definitely I try to immerse myself in that whole Black Lives Matter movement, the whole culture. I watch a lot of things on YouTube to just kind of get other people's vantage points, other people's perspectives on it.
Mm-hmm.
I jump into the comments and I just see all these just crazy racist people just saying all this stuff, like that kid who was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Who shot the people in Kenosha?
Right.
17-year-old kid. I jumped into the comments and I was reading people talking about, oh, he was just protecting himself.
Mm-hmm.
No, he wasn't.
Right.
No, he wasn't.
He went there with an AR-15.
He had.
You ever went somewhere with an AR-15
No, on
just to
purpose.
protect yourself?
Yeah.
I walk through my bellow every day and I don't have an AR-15,
Yeah,
right.
and it can happen at any time.
Yeah.
Hey, I lived in Marbella for a while there, and I learned that if you see somebody walking around with a tennis racket case, watch out, because
Right.
AK's fitting them perfect.
Oh, there you
most
go.
definitely, most definitely. So
But
you
they
learn.
definitely don't have it out brandishing,
Right, right.
It's like, it's just, he was there to make a confrontation. He was
Yeah.
there, it was loaded, he knew that he was going to have to shoot people. Why? So it just, it baffles me, the fact that people don't understand what the movement is for. And now that all of these protests have gone on, now all of a sudden Roger Goodell is going to stand behind Black Lives Matter when he effectively let the NFL blackball Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And that's just.
Well, we can never lose sight of the fact that we live in a capitalist environment.
Mm-hmm.
We don't live in the jungles of Soweto or Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
We stay in a capitalist environment, and being here, everything is going to be driven by the dollar.
Yeah.
And because just like before, when with the bus boycotts and everything initiated and pushed forward by Rosa Parks, it was starting to hit them in their pockets.
Yeah.
So when we have the black athletes who are generating, let's not get it confused, generating most of the money that the NFL receives.
Right.
At some point, it was just inevitable that we were going to have to address that issue on a national level and also on a social level when it comes to professional sports.
Yeah, I mean, the Black Lives Matter question is so much to unpack. But I gotta tip my hat off to Nike, because Nike they were the first big brand who backed the Black Lives Matter movement. They backed Colin Kaepernick way before it was mainstream, way before it was.
Before anybody made it popular to do so.
Right, yeah.
And then and those folks out there now, they're backing it. But to me, it's that little bit. You let them put Black Lives Matter on. You bring out commercials. But what are you companies gonna do as far as the politics are concerned? What are you gonna do as far as the law is concerned? That's where you can make your move. That's where you can make a big impact. Putting out little commercials and doing that and thinking you've done your job is nothing. It's doing nothing whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, you did a commercial, but there's still black men still out dying in the street. The guy at Blake that got shot in the back. That happened all after everybody put out their little commercials, and he still got shot in the back and unjustifiably did so. So you gotta do more.
Let's shoot out Kendra real quick, because
Yeah.
she said it's especially hard. Now here's a white woman who's also raising 3 black children. It's ironic. She says it's especially hard raising black men being white for sure.
Yeah.
And I can understand her struggle, and thanks a lot for that comment, Kendra. I can understand her struggle as opposed to yours even, because you're a white man.
Yeah.
Just imagine a white woman
Yeah.
who is trying to, because first of all, with raising a man, the rudiments of raising a man is just teaching them how to be a man first off and foremost.
For sure.
But for a woman to try to give a man the rudiments of being a man and understand him on that level is almost impossible.
Yeah.
So you need a man to do that.
Now, before the show, you said something about being on the bench.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I thought that was a profound statement.
It was.
Yeah, so I got a couple, just like a little story, right? That will
Okay.
just make a little more sense.
Okay.
So, when I was younger, because I've always been, I just hang out with different people. You know, I don't just hang out with black people. I don't just hang out with white people. I don't just hang out with Hispanic people. You know, I hang out with a lot of different people. And when I was like 17, 18 years old, we were in the car, and I think it was like 4th of July or something. And we're driving through the 5 Points, and it was me.
So you were with some brothers?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of the story.
It was me. It was my boy Joe, who's Hispanic. He's Chicano. My boy Jay, who's black, and my boy Giovanni, who is from Guatemala. And
Okay.
he'd been here since he was like, you know,
Me out the grass. There you go.
And so we get profiled and pulled over. We weren't doing anything wrong. Profiled and pulled over, and he's making everybody show their IDs. I'm like, don't do it, you know. And they're just like, well, I'd rather do it than have them pull us out the car or whatever.
Right.
So everybody shows their ID, and Giovanni had a warrant or whatever. And it was like a small warrant too, but he had a warrant, and he ended up getting deported.
Wow.
To Guatemala. They dropped him
Just
off.
based off of that routine traffic stop.
Yep.
Wow.
He never came back either.
Wow.
They dropped him off in the middle of the jungle, is the story that he told
Wow.
me. And
So
there's only one other person there with him, and that other person was actually from there. He's been here since he was 1 year old.
Wow.
So he didn't know anybody down there. He had no roots to his family that was from there.
Okay.
And he just had to figure it out.
Okay.
But so that was me, you know, being in the game sort of, but it's like I was on the bench. You know, I had a it's like a front row view of the game. So it's like if I was in the NBA, I'm on the bench. I get to cheer on people. I get to be there. I get to see people, and I get to see the struggle. But I'm just not. I don't go through the struggle.
Right.
You know, doesn't matter how close I am to people.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You know, Mike's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't change the fact that I'm a white dude and I still have white privilege.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. Have you ever been in a situation, because you're obviously,
Yes.
I kind of knew,
Yes.
I kind of see you as being white. Have you ever been in a situation where you have had, you know, you've been in a mixed company, or not so mixed company, where you've had other white people around you and they have said something, not knowing exactly who you are? Because I know Hispanic people who say that, you know, sometimes people come to me speak Spanish, I don't speak Spanish. So has that ever happened to you where you've been around other whites and they have made some comments or anything and you've had to speak up?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, man. I'm a fly on the wall. You know, I kind of feel like an insider sometimes.
Okay.
Like I'm insider trading.
Okay.
You know, and I get to be in the mix, and I get to listen to people say all their crazy things that would you know piss me off, that would get under my skin.
Okay.
And I've let them go well into it before I let them know where I'm coming from.
So hold on.
So
Okay.
you did say something.
Yeah.
But do you let them let them talk a little bit first?
Yeah.
So you know that you're addressing some racism, or do you don't just come out the gate and say something to them?
Well, the way that I look at it is, it's like I'm just leaving out my snares. I'm just letting them walk in there and get that track.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be like, hey, by the way, this is what my life looks like.
Okay.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and then they're just like, well, I'm not.
I thought you were one of us.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
They said they're what? Not racist.
Right.
When they just made a bunch of racist comments, right?
Yeah.
And they backpedal. Wow.
Anybody who
Wow.
has to say that they're not racist, obviously they got some things to work out. But I do think that everybody's a little bit racist, you know, in their own right, because it's just like everybody talks about systemic racism, right? Like it's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. White people, Kendra's saying white people act like racism is normal. And that's what they do.
But it has been.
It
has been for so many years. Go ahead.
Let me make a statement. To me, I think there are people who have prejudices. And prejudices are not knowing that much about a community and on the outside looking in. To me, when it's racist is when you talk about it, you see things going on, like you don't say nothing to the other person that's being doing that stuff, and then you act out on your racism. Like you don't give, so you're in a position to hire a brother or to give a brother a good money in the job, but you don't based on their black. But a white person with less education can come in and make more money than that person. to me, that's acting it out,
Do
and
you
that's
feel-
when it becomes racist.
Do you feel like you have benefited from white privilege?
Yeah, so I got another story. So when I was younger, I was doing some dirt with my boy.
Oh, yeah, I remember this
we
story.
were going over state lines. This was well before marijuana was legal.
Okay.
And we were going up to the Twin Cities.
Okay.
To get up to the Twin Cities, you have to go through Omaha,
Okay.
which is it's just known for being like the drug highway, like the trafficking highway, right?
Okay.
It has the largest interstate intersection in the country.
Okay.
And so just everybody goes through there, and there's canine units just lining the highway. It's really confusing too, because there's just highways going. It's like worse than LA, at least the way that I picture LA. And we get pulled over by this canine unit. We had a fair amount of marijuana in the car, and I was driving, and the cop pulled us over, and he gets out, and he has me come out and get into his car, and he talks to my boy who's in the passenger seat. He's black, and he keeps going back and forth. And before I got out, we were getting our story straight.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing, this is where we're going. And he kept going back and forth. I'm sitting right next to the dog, and we covered our traces as well as we could.
Okay.
So the dog didn't give any signals
Okay.
when I was in the car.
Okay.
But finally, he comes back into the car, and he's like hammering me again. I'm like, hey man, we got places to go. And so this is when I pulled out my white privilege. Back then I said I pulled my white boy card, but obviously now it's called white privilege.
Right.
So he says, I'm like, man, we got places to go. If you want to get the dog out and have him come check, please just get it done so that we can move on.
Wow.
Wow.
And then he's like, all right, you can go.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
But he was giving the brother that was with you a hard time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my
Okay.
boy, we were really tight. We lived next door to each other. We ended up being roommates later, and and I get back in the car. He's like, "Man, I didn't know if you were gonna fold or not."
And the thing is, the point here being is that if he would have said the exact thing that you said, there would have been a whole production behind that.
Yeah, he might have called him out on it.
Yeah, and I've even seen it.
Yeah.
Like when I've been in situations and I'm like, brother, do you know what you're doing? Well, I got lawyers. And you know what? You can kiss my ass. I'm like, man, I would never say that to the guy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I get it, and I've seen it in action.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, and it's also, I would say, on a more on a different level, I would say it's all in the way that you address, interact, and deal with police officers. So if I could say this to my brothers and sisters out there, when you're dealing with police officers and you're in a situation like that, you want to be respectful, first of all. You want to comply with whatever they're asking you to do, and if you're not complying and you know you're wrong, just go ahead and apologize. There was an old EA when I was in the military. He said, you know what, Terry, you can be right, but you can be dead right.
Yeah.
We want to make it home. We don't want to be dead right.
Come home safe.
Exactly.
Be intelligent, say the right thing. Number one, don't ride dirty. You guys know the climate right now.
We talking.
You know
we
what's
can't
going
tell them
on.
not to ride dirty, man.
Hey, but you know what? I mean, you kind of you don't bring what they do to you on yourself, but if you ain't got nothing going on, the chances of you leaving that stop and leaving with your life increase dramatically versus if you're out there doing something wrong, because then you give them an okay. And then once they feel they have the okay, they're going to act on it. They're going to act on it anyway, but you just reduce your chances when you're not doing that. Now, John, I got a thing for you because we're talking to it, and you were single for 10 years taking care of these kids almost by yourself.
Not a full 10 years.
Not full 10 years. Close enough, 8?
So the twins were in kindergarten when their mom stepped out of the house.
So that's about, they 14 now, about 9 years.
Yeah, but I was with Sophia for 2 years before we got married.
Yeah,
She didn't move in until we got married.
Yeah, but yeah.
Hold on, you married her first and then let her move in?
Yeah.
Up top one more time. See, this is somebody out here doing it the right way.
The right way. But my question is, what would you say, and I don't care what color they are, what would you say to those men out there who aren't taking care of their kids? who are deadbeat dads and doing that, when you had the struggle of 3 kids on your own, you maintained it, you took care of business, finance, and everything. What would you say? Look at the camera, and what would you say to those dads out there, whether they be white, black, or whatever color, that aren't taking care of their kids and handling their business?
Korean.
Korean. Yeah, yeah.
I heard there's an epidemic of that in the Korean.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
What would you say to those fathers? Because regardless of what race your kids are, it's even more that they're black, but you handled your business, period. What would you say to those fathers?
I would just say step up. You know, I mean, to me there was no other choice. You know, I didn't see any other way. You know, when my youngest daughter was born, she was born in another state. She was born in Missouri, and I had them come back out here. And their mom said, you know, it's a package deal. If she's coming, then I'm coming. And I was like, I guess I'll take you on. And obviously that didn't work out, but my daughter's still with me to today.
Wow.
Wow.
That's deep. And we just dropped that bombshell, John. They didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
this young black woman that you're raising as well, isn't consanguineously, that's another $5 word.
That's a $1,000
It's,
word.
it's not consanguineously related to you. Consanguineous means blood related.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's not blood related to you.
No,
she is.
His daughter.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, she's my
Oh,
daughter.
she was just somewhere else.
All his kids is from his blood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need to put that out there then. More than they are
They're not
consanguineously.
adopted. They're not. They are his children. I know.
So they
them
are
all
consanguineously
since they was
connected.
knee-high to a grasshopper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, step up. I mean, you're their father. You know, do you really want to have somebody else raising your kids?
Mhm.
That's the way that I look at it. I don't want somebody else raising my kids. I can't see somebody else calling, or my kids calling some other man dad.
Mhm.
That doesn't sit with me well.
Mhm.
You know,
So even if you had, and let me just throw that in there, I just want to ask this
Go ahead.
question.
Mhm.
So even if you were with a woman and she had children from someone else, you wouldn't let those children call you dad?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't want my kids calling someone else.
You're saying you're going to have the responsibility of dad.
Right.
And so if you're a dad, they're not there, and you got somebody else they're calling dad that's taking care of
Right,
it.
right.
Look at it like this. If you're a deadbeat dad, first of all, you don't know, your baby's mom could be bringing a bunch of dudes around and could be creating some pretty crazy daddy issues in your daughters.
Okay.
And that's a big deal, you know? And so do you want your daughters bouncing around because their mom had to bounce around because you couldn't take care of business?
Yeah.
And also, how many people do you want your kids calling dad? I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's selfish.
A man
you.
that comes in every 2 years and all of a sudden they call him dad. Not somebody that's been there and with the ex and been handling business with her for decades, but some on and off again thing and they call him dad.
Now my sisters out here are gonna get upset with me real quick because I want to just address it. I want to
Yeah.
address something real quick
Mhm.
before we just leave this by the wayside. Because we talked about raising black men, and then when we talked about raising black women, we just addressed the hair issue.
Yeah.
What are the other things? Because I have 3 girls,
Mhm.
and I talked to them about how to respect themselves,
Mhm.
how to conduct themselves around men, and how to conduct themselves with men that they may or may not be interested in. I teach them how to conduct themselves in that way. What is your advice to the young black women, and how do you raise your own?
So I really go against the grain.
Okay.
Like I cut direct. I'm slicing brisket every day.
Okay.
You know, because I'm very conservative. I don't let my daughters show their stomach. I know that that's really popular right now. That young ladies walk around with their stomach all out and stuff like that. I don't let that. So my daughters dress conservatively, and I don't let them play the field. There's no dating in my house.
Okay.
Because my daughter's 17 and she's not dating anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how do you let them know their worth? Because in our community, a black woman's worth, we talk to our kids all about their worth. What do you tell them? How do you let them know what their worth is so they're not just out there doing anything with any little boy or anything like that?
So
I'll tell you this. My wife and I feel like we set a really good standard.
Mm-hmm.
And so because my wife and I are respectful of each other, we rarely fight, and when we do argue, it's rarely to where anybody else is privy to the fact that we're having a disagreement. But we're respectful of each other.
Mhm.
And so I tell the kids, I tell my daughters, look at how I treat
Your
Sophia.
mother.
Look
Okay.
at how I treat her. If you should never accept anybody treating you any lesser than how I treat her. And that's a really high standard. I
Okay.
never call her out of her name. I always treat her well. I always
Okay.
treat her with respect. Anything that she asks for is never too much.
Okay.
So I try to lead by example on the type of man that you should allow to be in your life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a white man teaching a young black woman how to conduct herself as a black woman. And did you hear what he said about the exposed skin and things of that nature?
Mhm.
Now, I'm not saying y'all all got to go as hard as John is going, but what I'm saying is this. He's raising a young black woman, and this is the requirement, because I want to say this real quick. He could have, even though he is love, supporting, and protecting this young lady, he could have a hands-off approach.
Yeah.
And saying, you know what, well, I just allow her to be who she's going to be and this and that, and I want her to grow into her own, and all those different types of excuses. But no, you're saying, you know what, I'm going to have, as a father, as her consanguineous father,
Yeah.
I am going to be a major part in her life, and I'm going to be hands-on. I'm going to say this real quick. A lot of women that have problems with men are those who didn't have a really good connection with their father.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I gotta give, my wife did not have her father in her life, but she came out a great woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's an absolutely wonderful, fantastic woman.
Okay.
So, to all you single mothers out there, I just want you to know that just because your kid's father is not in the picture, doesn't mean that they can't come out and be amazing women, because they can.
Amen.
But it takes that much more from you to be able to make that happen. It takes a lot from you, and I feel like I'm mansplaining right now, but my mother-in-law is a hell of an example of how to raise a woman as a single mother, and she put it all in. She was 100% in all the time, and my wife doesn't go a day without speaking to her mother.
Yeah.
So she made
So
sure
moms
that
have
she
a big
filled,
part to play as well.
she filled that void as best as she could, and so I just want to let y'all know that it can be done, and I'm sure that you already know that because you're in the thick of it right now. But you can be a great mother of a great young lady if you just give it 100%.
And I want to set this out because, you're going to get some brothers that watch this show, and brothers like to call, they watch different things and saying, oh, well, y'all brought on a white savior on the show to show how he takes care of black women like black men can't. No, there's plenty of black men out there doing the same thing that John is doing.
Most definitely.
Terry's taking care of his kids. I'm taking care of them. Like, I don't even hang in a circle with dudes that don't take care of their kids. If we come up in a conversation and you tell me you ain't been around your kids and you don't really seen them and you ain't doing too much with them, I ain't got no time for you, brother.
Because I know how you feel about me.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay some information, and I'm gonna be like, I gotta bounce because I ain't got no time for you.
But on that same note, let me just throw that in there, because
Yeah.
there are some people, due to circumstances or whatever, they're not able to spend the time that they should with their children.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to reach out to those brothers and say, brothers, do whatever you can.
Whatever you can.
Especially if you have girls. Do whatever you can to make sure that you are in those girls' life, because it means the world to them.
Yeah.
Trust me. To have their father around, to know that their father loves them, it means a lot.
Yeah, and I'll just bring up my daughter. I didn't have custody. I did fools. I got into domestic violence situations. I didn't have custody of my daughter. So the times of like holidays and everything that I had got to spend to her, and I went to her mother's house with her grandparents, and I spent those holidays too with her. Now, we weren't getting along. I wasn't getting along with the family that good at the time because I was doing knucklehead stuff. But that reflects back to now these days, and my daughter respects the fact that I did that, and she's 28 years old now. she knows, and some of the truth came out, and I'm gonna air all my bit, but the truth came out to some things, and things are a lot better between everybody now. But you never stop. You do what you can in that position, because their adolescence is only a small amount of time. But them as adults, you're gonna have a lifetime of a friendship with them, and you don't want them going into their adulthood saying that you was never there as a father.
And damage.
Yeah,
Is it?
your daughter loves and respects you.
Yeah.
She loves you so much, man.
Yeah.
So he never stepped down. He never backed down. He always hung in there.
Is there anything else that you would like to leave us with today, John? I appreciate everything that you had to offer.
Yeah.
But
So something. Another shout out to my wife. She really pushed this, and it's really important. She made sure that, you know, because my family is predominantly white, like Eddie Murphy said back in the day. His family is predominantly black. my family is white, and so you know my kids spend a lot of time with my family, and so I go to a church that is mostly black. You know, I go to a barber shop that is black owned, and I just try to make sure that they understand as much as they can both sides of their culture. And so, you know, this is where I give the shout out to my wife, is that she made sure that we put them up on game on the civil rights movement and things like that. So like we watched this special about the civil rights movement, and immediately my daughter was like, we got to get the Malcolm X book. We got it. She didn't finish it, but my son finished it.
Yeah.
And he read it cover to cover within like a week or two. You know, and so I continue to make sure that they're, you know, on top of both sides of their culture.
and being exposed to it,
Yeah,
because
being
that
exposed
exposure is a big piece.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you're also supportive of their culture and their heritage, and you don't kind of like shove that to a side, like, because I think, well, anyway, go ahead.
No, that's all right. So, you know, that's just another thing that I do, you know, raising black children, and it's not all my idea. You know, I definitely I pick and choose what I'm going to implement into my life, like any other good leader would. You know, you learn from other leaders, and you decide what makes sense for you, what fits into your household and your lifestyle, and I do that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I thank you again on that love, support, and protect thing. On that love, support, and protect tip, I just want to thank John for doing what he's doing and making sure that he is supplying the black community with some people, with some young men and women who have respect for themselves, respect for their heritage, and respect for each other. So I thank you again, John, for joining us tonight, coming out and having this conversation with us, because we definitely couldn't have done it without you.
Like it's all without y'all either.
It's all about that love, support, and protect, you guys. Thank you so much.
Mikey
Share
Knight,
this video.
make sure you sharing this. There's somebody that needs to hear it.
There's other people that's going on like that. And this is like bringing the races together right now. This is what we need to do. We need to have those conversations and find out more and more and more. We're all the same. The more things that change, the more things stay the same. We are the same. We got differences, but we can work them out.
Hey, see y'all tomorrow.
We got more in common than we got that's not in common.
Yeah.
Hey, one more time, John.
We got more in common than we don't.
We got more in common than we don't. Most definitely.
Y'all have a good night.
Hey, signing out, Mike Knight. We love y'all. Hey, make sure you share this. If you know somebody that needs to see this, needs to hear this, hey, put it on your page. Let them check it out.
Share it.
Hey, signing out, y'all. Have a good one.
Y'all have a good one.